Hello, everyone. It is your favorite host, Amber Viola, and welcome back to season 4 of Politics But Make It Fashion. Come interview with me. So, I have a special guest on my show, and they are somebody who is from Luzerne County, okay? And we do not have many people from Luzerne on here. And yes, I made sure I spelled it right because it is spelled funny. Um, but she is running for county council, and her name is Emily Singh. I noticed her on social media. She is first generation here, and I think that she has like a really great perspective and something to offer. I've also seen a bunch of people that I follow be very excited about her. And in this kind of crazy political field we have right now, I think that really says something that really stands out about you, especially when you have young people, when you have us not so young millennials excited about a candidate. I think that really offers a good perspective. So, Emily, thank you so much for being here and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, the support I've been getting has been just mind blowing. I didn't realize that people believed in me so much. I think it's because I have trouble believing in myself sometimes. So, yeah, that's just been really inspiring to me. It's keeping me going. When I doubt myself, I just see all these people are excited I'm running, and I just try to be better in whatever I'm feeling not confident in. And
Yeah. And I
thank you.
think you're running a good campaign. I do,
Oh,
especially
thank you.
from seeing it from afar, from not really being at any of your events like live as I maybe would in here in Lackawanna County or in the Scranton area. But seeing your social media presence, because that's one of my one of my issues with my Dems and some of my independents, especially local. You guys are terrible on the social media. The Republicans are better at it, okay?
Really.
Maybe because that's all they're doing. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, but they are hounding, they are on there, and you are one of the few I've seen who is really seems to be running a really good, and your ground campaign now is social media. So that's kind of what it is, and I think you're doing a really great job with that.
Thank you. Yeah, I grew up chronically online, so trying to use that as a strength. And I'm glad to see that it's paying off. And I was really excited to see your podcast. First of all, the name is incredible.
Thank
Like,
you.
let's get people into politics. And with a name like that, I would try to be more engaged if I wasn't, because it sounds more exciting. And so thank you for having me on the show and doing what you're doing. I think it's super
Absolutely.
important. Yeah, super important that people be more
So
politically
what
active.
does have you engaged right now? Why are you out here running for a county council?
All right. So, let's take it back to November 2024. The last presidential election was a transformative moment for me, and I think for a lot
That's a
of
way to put it.
people. Yes, I was sick to my stomach seeing how corrupt politicians crept in and took over this country. I really had to take a step back and try to ground myself and ask myself, like, within reason and within my control, what can I do to help my community? So I wanted to understand how the coming changes, the federal changes, would impact my local community. And I honestly felt guilty about not knowing more about politics and not being more engaged locally. So I started this journey of trying to understand local politics, um, just mostly as a way to cope with what was happening
Right, right.
and how it was making me feel and all this guilt I was having. So I started talking to local advocacy groups. I listened to some of the politicians I admire talk about what we can individually do to help things. And I had like a haunting voice in my head of Kamala Harris just saying to do something, like telling us to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
something. So I looked for resources. I reached out to people for help. I found classes with some pretty awesome groups. There's this group called Lead PA that they offer classes for people who are thinking of running for candidacy. And depending on how interested you are, they offer more and more classes. So that's kind of how I got into it. I learned about what it would look like running for a local municipal race,
Mm-hmm.
because pretty much all the thing I've been hearing the most is we need more candidates. We need
Right.
more younger candidates.
Right.
We need more working class candidates. So at the very last minute, I decided to run for county council literally a couple of days before petition period started. And I had kind of an idea what I was going into because of the classes, but I really didn't know until I jumped in there. And
Yeah.
I tend to do that. I tend to jump in on the deep end and
Me
kind
too.
of
Well,
just
I'll
figure it
I'll
out.
figure it out once I get in here. Once we'll figure it
Exactly.
out.
Exactly. I'm like,
Right.
all right, let's just,
Yeah.
that's the best way. Everyone has their own learning style. Sometimes that's the best way for me to learn. I just jump into
Exactly.
it and I figure it out. Um, and I'm fortunate right now. I have a very solid support system. I'm in a good position. I am working full time, but I have a therapist. I have a little extra spending money. I'm not rich by any means, but yeah, I felt like I was in a good place to step
Right.
up and
And
try
these
to
are
take
all
this
things
on.
that people are always wondering, what is their barriers or what's stopping you or what even makes it easier, and telling people, hey, I had a little extra money right now. I am still working full time. I did my own research to try to figure out, and everybody can kind of do their own thing. So my listeners will know that I've had people on here who are running for city council, but you're the first person that I've had running for county council. So tell us what that is.
So, Luzerne County Council is actually, like, the history is fascinating. I'm so happy to talk about it. So, Luzerne County Council is the legislative branch of our local government. So, federally, the legislative branch is Congress, and Congress is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and they're in charge of things like how to spend the federal budget and making laws. That's what legislative means, making laws. So, in a similar way, county council as a legislative branch, they they are in charge of budgeting the money we get from property taxes. So, anyone that lives in Luzerne County, when you pay a property tax, it all goes to the county, and then the county decides, how do we budget this? How do we use it for different infrastructure
Wow,
projects, or
that's a
do
big
it?
job.
Yeah, do we want to, what kind of programs do we want to support, things like that. They also do have legislative powers, so they can't make, like, ordinances or county laws, that the county laws that we can make can't interfere with state or federal laws. So yeah, that's what Luzerne County Council does. I do have a background in banking. I've been in banking for going over 10 years now. So I have some experiences with finances and, like, legal lingo and reading, like,
Mm-hmm.
reading mortgages and things like that. So, um, so let me talk to you about the history of county council, because
Yes, yes, yes. And
this is
I honestly,
exciting.
I didn't know that. So I'm very fascinated. So go
So,
ahead.
okay, well, wait till you hear this, because this is the tea. This is like Real Housewives level drama. Okay, so county council formed pretty recently in 2001. County council formed, and it was in direct response, I think. I mean, there's no way to prove this, but I think it was direct response for the Kids for Cash scandal. Now, the Kids for Cash scandal, um, it was in the late aughts, in like
Mm-hmm.
2008 to 2011. There was this huge scandal involving some elected officials in Luzerne County. So you've probably heard of there were these county judges that accepted bribes, and for imposing overly harsh sentences to kids. So they were effectively sending kids to juvie for very minor offensive for money.
Right.
Plain and simple. So as a result of that investigation, so they started looking into one judge in Luzerne County. The FBI did.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of that, so they would be, like, interrogating one person, then that person would throw someone else under the bus to get lesser sentence, and it was kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there were like 7 elected officials in total that ended up getting criminal charges from this. So, as you can imagine, that shook the county. It made national headlines, and people absolutely lost faith in our local system, in our local political system.
Right. And
So,
that recently came up due to Joe Biden pardoning one of the
uh-huh.
judges. But I do like to remind people that he was not in prison, that he was on house arrest, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure he was like in Florida. So I do not agree with the pardon, but it wasn't like the man was locked up in in Rikers or anything like that. Like he was doing whatever he wanted. They're they were not punished harsh enough, guys, at all.
Right.
Not even a little bit. They should have been locked up and thrown away the key. Because actually, when Joe Biden pardoned him, almost everybody else was out already. So
Yeah. Yeah.
mess.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So so anyway, after that, that left a huge gap in our local political scene with all these people facing criminal charges and
Right.
having to step down all at once. It was like, well, who's going to run everything? So in 2011, people voted to adopt the Home Rule Charter. The Home Rule Charter is a charter that was written in the 1970s, I think 1974, and they tried to pass it twice, once in 1974 when it was written and again in 2004, and people voted it down both times. But after the Kids for Cash scandal, people were like, hey, what if we had what if we had this charter that, the first thing the charter says is this is a charter to protect the people of Luzerne County from their elected officials. What if we had this charter to protect us? So then in 2011, people voted to pass the charter, which effectively made a county council. So the
Right.
county council is 11 members, and there's currently 5 seats up for election. So we all vote on different type of legislative items. Mostly I've seen it's mostly about budgeting,
Mhm.
but they also do have the power to make
Right.
local laws. So
And normally, you always get something after something devastating happened,
yeah.
and different things. I found out that Pennsylvania actually has rules protecting kids who work in reality TV, and also any kids who are doing any type of like influencer kids because of Kate Gosling and, Johnny K
Wow.
plus 8, because that was filmed in Pennsylvania. So now we have rules,
That's
unlike a lot of
great.
states, protecting kid influencers and different stuff. So it always, the reason stuff comes about is normally because of something devastating, and that whole thing, I mean, it ruined so many people's lives and so many kids' lives, and there wasn't enough, they didn't get enough back,
It did.
the victims and different things like that. But I'm glad that they
Absolutely.
have this now, and that's so interesting in the history behind it. And you need those checks and balances. Also, if we had something like that a little bit over here, I don't know if you know, before our mayor before went to jail. So um
Oh no. That's what I'm saying. The
right,
corruption in the
exactly. So as you
politics,
were
it
going through
needs
it,
to
I was like,
stop.
I think that could have protected Scranton a lot from what was happening with previous issues that we had legally and things like that. So what do you, from giving us kind of that history lesson, looking now kind of to the present, is there anything that sticks out in your mind that really concerns you, or you are looking to really protect due to what's going on the federal landscape, that you feel like you can really protect now, being on the once you're on the council like that? Is there anything like specifically that was sticking out in your mind when you were kind of going through and doing your research?
So, one thing I've heard is that it might be possible to pass some anti-discrimination protections in the county. So I would love to see something like that pass. And as far as I know, that wouldn't get in the way of any state or federal laws because we all already have
Right.
anti-discrimination. So it wouldn't hurt to lock that down now while the laws are like that now. So that's one thing I'm hoping to change. Right now, I'll talk a little bit about the party system. The current council has 4 Democratic members, and the rest of the members are Republican. So all the seats up for election are Republican seats. So for the first time in history, I'm saying since 2011,
Since 2001.
we have the possibility of having a majority Democratic council. So, but from what I hear, so I've talked to some of the current council members, and it seems like there is a degree of working across party lines to get things done. I just think that with the majority Democrat council, we might be able to get even more done.
Right. So
Yeah.
is there anything that you have your sights on? Like, what is your goal for a first term in the county council?
So I do believe that most problems can be solved if people have access to economic opportunities and job opportunities, and on a non-county council level, like people need health care, people need enough money to live, they need affordable housing and things like that. I mean, affordable housing is something you can work on at county council, but
Right.
it takes a more creative solution because there is limitations to what we can do. So I would definitely put time and effort into researching issues, like similar issues like affordable housing issues, maybe flooding issues, environmental issues in other states and counties, kind of seeing how they tackle it and modeling a solution for us. After that, I think it's going to take a lot of work to come up with really great solutions to some of our problems. It's going to take working with different municipalities, state and federal levels, and doing a lot of research, working with the community to find solutions that, you're never going to have everyone in the community agree that something's good, but
Right.
if you could compromise and find ways to do things to serve the people in the best way that they want to be served, I think there's compromise I can do, and I do feel like that's a strength that I have. Is I'm really great at finding compromise between different groups of people and working with people, and yeah, so that's what I hope to bring to county council.
And I think when people know that you're willing to work together, that really does say a lot. And we all have a common goal. It's, we're all in this NEPA area. We all want our area to be better, and all the things are going to affect each other. And I think we're in a perfect position. Even you were talking about environmental issues. We've had almost 14 days of rain. And up here, we know that we flood, and we have flooding issues, and we have climate change issues because of things going on, and we have issues with people not building things the right way, so the runoff is all messed up. I don't know the science behind that, but that's basically the issue.
Yeah.
We're all part of the 81 thing. We know it floods a lot of different places down the line, and so there's just so many things that connect us, that it doesn't matter what party you're in. We're all in this same area where we have to work together, and we do have to come up with solutions to help all of us, because even the Kids for Cash thing, that affected people in our area too, because people from this area were affected because they were being sentenced or things happened up there. So it's just something that we're all connected. And I think when we really sit down and talk to people in the community, there is a love and understanding. And once people realize that, I think we can maybe come together and things. And also we do take things from each other. So hopefully other areas can see what you guys are doing specifically with the county council. And it hasn't been around that long, but hopefully now, even if you get some influx of new blood, get some new people, maybe some other counties will start to take that up and see, hey, maybe we could do this over here, especially getting younger people involved. I don't know how specifically what your voter, I'm going to ask you this, but what your voter turnout is. I know ours is very low. So I've been talking to people. What are you thinking about? How are you getting the vote out, or how are you trying to get people to vote in these local elections? Because this is so important. So important. But how are you kind of get people to motivate them to vote?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We need more people to vote. We need more younger people to vote. We need more people of color to vote. Um, so I think just I've been thinking about this. It is a very nuanced issue, right? Because
It
it's like,
is. It is. It's
yeah,
no one answer.
right. How do you get people to care enough to want to be engaged?
Right.
I think there is a bit that called the blue wave. There is a shift happening now. I'm talking to people. People have two reactions to what's happening federally, right? They either want to be more engaged or they want to pretend like it's not happening and bury their head in the sand and just kind of try to move on with their life, which, I get that. I get that. It's really hard to see these huge things happening and like think, how can I have a control? And I tell everyone this, people want you to feel like you don't have control over what's
Mm-hmm.
happening, but it's not true. You
Yep.
have control over yourself. You have control over how you let those things affect you. I mean, like, feel your feelings, be upset, take time when you need to, but know that like they want you to shut down. They want you to not do anything. So just have to keep reminding yourself, like, what do I have control over? I have control over myself to not let this stuff get to me. I can vote. Voting
Right.
voting is huge. You have so much control with voting. You just go out and vote. Now, it is getting increasingly harder to vote. It
Yeah.
is. It is. And people have to put more effort into registering to vote and coming up with a voting plan. And, things are getting more expensive now. People are having to work more. It's like, how do I find time to vote?
Right.
Like,
It needs to
I
be a holiday, so people just
exactly.
automatically have off. That would solve like 90% of the issues here.
Yeah, we need
Everybody's,
to.
oh, I'm against mail-in voting. I'm against absent. If people
Mm,
had the day off, that would solve. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other people that still would need that accessibility to go vote. But if everybody had off, that would solve a lot of the
oh
problems,
my
guys.
God,
So
yes.
many, so many.
Absolutely. Make it illegal for people to tell you like you have to work
Yeah,
and
right, right.
and like make companies give you time off, like pay for
Mm-hmm.
whatever, an hour or two time off so you could drive down to the polling place and vote. Now in Luzerne County, this has been kind of a hot topic item. They have drop boxes now. They
Right.
have so they are trying to expand voting here in the county and give people more options where you can drive somewhere close to you and drop off your ballot in a drop box. And I love that.
Yeah, we have
Anything.
that. We have that here.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a hot topic. It's gone. It's been up for debate, but I started doing rides to the polls a couple years back, a couple elections back, and I found that people didn't have rides. Very simple things that were privileged and we kind of take for granted. But even the drop boxes are help people, and even I took people to drop boxes to drop things off, and because not everybody has a ride, not everybody has a way to kind of get places and stuff. So
Yeah.
making it more accessible, it helps out those blue people when more people vote, because that's when more people vote, that's who they vote for. I didn't
Exactly.
blame the
And
data. Blame the
And
data.
and like you were saying, like, don't be scared to go to your friends and go to your family and say, hey, do you have a plan to vote? It's really important that you vote. Like, do you need anything? Do you want any help with voting? Do you have any questions? Like, are you confused by anything? Is there anything I can help you with? And yeah, I think just putting the pressure on the people that you know to vote, supporting any type of expansion of voting rights like ballot drop boxes, and just checking in with yourself and saying, like, hey, no, like, we can fight this if we all collectively just, at the very least, go out to
Right.
vote.
Yeah. So, do you have any upcoming events before election day that people can know about?
I do. I don't know when you're going to release this, but I
I'm
have
going
one
to be.
tomorrow.
It's going to be released. We're not going to be in a Wayback Machine, so
Okay.
it will be out by tomorrow for us. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So tomorrow night, Thursday night, May 15th, I have a meet and greet event in Shikshini. That's where I live. So a little background about me. I grew up in Drums. I went to Hazleton Area High School. I bought my first house in Hazleton, and then last year I sold my house and I moved here to Shikshini to be with my lovely partner. And so yeah, tomorrow night I am going to have an event in Shikshini, at Five Mountain Brewing Company. It's this fantastic little hole-in-the-wall brewery that we go to trivia every Tuesday night. Well, now that I'm campaigning, I haven't been able to, but I'm doing my meet and greet event there tomorrow from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to have basket raffles. My mom is a nurse at a nursing home, and she is so cute. Her and her coworkers decided to donate a bunch of baskets and like
Aw.
cash money and
Yes.
coffee
We love
machines
our
and
basket
Bath and
raffles up here.
Body.
We love a
Oh
basket
yeah.
raffle.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have some like charcuterie that I got for people to snack on, and like some limited drink tokens. And Five Mountain Brewery literally just looks like someone's house. And you walk in and it's like a living room, but with a that's like gutted, and it's like a bar.
I want to
But
go. That sounds awesome.
it's really awesome. And, the owners are great. Shout out Melissa, Brett. They're in the DR right now, enjoying their life as they should. And they have an awesome backyard space. And they have a lot of ska bands that play there in the
Yes.
summertime, like big name ska bands too. They have like wrestling that goes there too. So it's a great little place. Come on down if you can. Say hi. We're gonna have raffles. We're gonna have snacks. Love to see ya.
Where can people find you online as well?
Online on Facebook, I have a Facebook page. It's Emily Singh for Luzerne County Council, and you can keep up with any event happening there. Always looking for volunteers to help with campaigning. It is a bigger job than I thought it would be, and I am bad at asking for help, and it's something that one of the many things I've had to rapidly get over. So I need help. If you would like to volunteer, shoot me a message, or just give my page a like. That's being supportive. Yeah, that's how you can reach me. I also have an email, Emily Singh, SINGHPA @gmail.com. So you can reach me there as well.
Great. And also, if you guys are interested, she also had a horror podcast. So you guys need to you need to make sure.
I did. Actually, after while I was getting this set up for your podcast, I'm like, dang, I'm going to have a little downtime after the primaries. I'm going to reach out to my friend and see if we could squeeze in an episode quick before, an episode or two before it picks up. I just saw Sinners. Um,
I gotta watch that. But oh my
Real
gosh, no,
good.
thank you so much. Thank you, Emily, so much for being on here,
Thank you for
and
having me.
thank you so much for just the energy that you're injecting into local politics around here. I always love to see women, running and doing anything. And this time in this field, especially in this NEPA area, we really do have a lot of great women who are in this field who are running, which is really, really cool. So thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you guys give her a follow on her Facebook page because she does update it.
Thank
And
you.
she is posting and showing you guys where what she's doing and
Yeah.
where she's going to be at. Make sure you guys contact me if you need a ride to go vote. We are going to do rides to the polls again this year. I know I'm going to get the flyer out and the information, but if I get anybody who needs a ride in Luzerne County, just hit me up or hit up Emily if you know her, if you're in her area. Also, we'll figure it out. We will make sure that we will get you to go vote. The primary is May 20th. Make sure you guys get out there. Get everybody that you know to the polls. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Politics But Make It Fashion, and we will chat soon.